Non-Monogamy Help is a podcast where your questions about open, non-monogamous or polyamorous relationships are answered. Our host, Lola Phoenix, will consult a licensed therapist with over a decade of experience to address your problems. Names and locations have been changed or censored to keep your questions anonymous. You're listening to Non-Monogamy Help, the podcast.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Non-Monogamy Help podcast. I'm Lola Phoenix. I'm going to do something a little bit different this week, actually, and this is also going to be on my YouTube channel. I think it might be interesting if I do a little live react to like an Our Relationships thread, like maybe a controversial Our Relationships thread or something that's hot or trending, just to see what happens. And I think it might be super interesting and it might be a lot of fun. So if you want to, if you're watching this, I typically give people help with non-monogamous, polyamorous, or open relationships, but Our Relationships is obviously all relationships. So if you have a question associated with non-monogamy, you can send your questions to ask@nonmonogamyhelp.com, and they'll either be in the podcast or the column that I write anonymously. You're welcome to let me know which one you prefer. And you can get everything, read all the columns, listen to all the podcasts at nonmonogamyhelp.com. I've got emails that go out with content at nonmonogamyhelp.com/email. And I'm on Twitter and Instagram at nonmonogamyhelp, and also on TikTok at nonmonohelp, but who knows what the hell's going on with that by the time I release this, who knows. Anyway, this week we are going to go straight in. I've got Our Relationships over here. Well, I've got Reddit over here, but we're going to go straight into Our Relationships and see what we find. All right, right at the top of the hour, we have a question that says, my boyfriend wouldn't go with me to spread my father's ashes. Let's read that. Okay, TLDR, my boyfriend wouldn't go with me to spread my father's ashes, and I don't know how to forgive or let go. Hello, first-time Reddit poster. Please forgive me if incorrect format, but tips are welcomed. I, 27 female, have been dating my current home-sharing boyfriend, 30 male, for a little over 3 years now. I've been procrastinating scattering my dad's ashes for about 4 to 5 years. Why, I do not know. I was decluttering, and it felt gross knowing a whole person that used to have an entire life was sitting in a cardboard box on my floor. It seemed disrespectful. There's a nice waterfall about a 35-minute drive from my house with a hiking trail leading to it. I thought it would be a good place as we don't live close to anything he liked to do, and it's usually lacking people, so it would be private. I asked my boyfriend if on a day he wasn't doing something, because he hates being asked last minute, to go with me for both emotional support, and I'm scared of being alone in the woods on a trail with little to no cell phone service. His first response was, do I have to? I restated that it didn't have to be immediately, but he continued on with, I really don't want to. Do you want me to? Why would I be asking him to go with me if I didn't want him to go? He continued to give vague questions and answers without ever really saying he wouldn't go, so I told him never mind, I would go on my own. It's been months now, and I'm still afraid to go alone, but I don't have any close family that wouldn't hold it against me in some weird way in the future. I don't know how to forgive or forget about it, looking for advice or if this isn't something most would let go. When I told him it hurt me later, he did cry, so I guess he does feel bad now, but this isn't the first time something like this has happened where I needed support emotionally and he couldn't be bothered. Would you let it go? If so, how do I move past this? Oh, God. See, I've had lots of situations like this, not this particular situation, but I've had situations where something is really important to me and I ask about it and the person doesn't like say no, but they go like, I don't know if I want to. And that sucks. I think that the situation isn't so much about the ashes. I mean, this obviously has an enormous emotional impact on this person, and I totally understand why. But I think it's like, I mean, the entire point of relationships, friendships, all human connection is for support. And you're literally like in a situation where you're asking for emotional support for something and your partner is like, do I have to? That doesn't feel good. Like, that doesn't feel great. That feels awful. And I think like it's not really about the ashes, really. It's like there's so many things in the future. Like, what if you're, you have to go through another death in your family and you need someone to support you at the funeral, and your boyfriend is like, like, do I have to? Like, it's not a very good position to be put in to feel like you're forcing someone to emotionally support you. It's kind of one of those tricky things where, like, when people all the time are like, I want my partner to engage with me and like ask, like, I want to do things with my partner, but I don't want to have to be like, hey, let's go out for a date, and always have to be the one initiating it. I want to be the one, I want them to ask me. I want them to want to ask me. And that's really tough because you can't force someone to be interested in spending time with you. You can't force someone to be interested in providing you with emotional support. And yeah, I don't think that I would let it go. I don't think I would, because it's not, like I said, it's not about the ashes. It's not about, being scared. Like I'm not saying that this isn't important, but it's about, you need genuine emotional support. You don't have any other support systems in your life. I would probably encourage this person to think about reaching out to some of that family. Like, I know that they might feel like they might be judged, but I think like you need the emotional, or reach out to your friends. But this is so hard. Like, as someone that has been in this situation where I didn't really have an emotional support system, and I wanted to be supported by someone, and I didn't want to have to be the person you don't want to force someone to help you. That's not like, you want your partner to provide you with emotional support and want to provide you with emotional support because they're your partner. Yeah, this is so sad. I'm so sorry to this OP. Like, this is awful. I'm really, really sorry you're going through this, but I wouldn't move past it. I wouldn't at all. Like, this would probably be, it doesn't say like how long they've been together for 3 years. Actually, it does say 3 years. And he's 30. Jesus. Yeah, I think I would definitely be like, yeah, I would be outie. I think it's just because there's so many other situations in life, right, where you're going to need genuine emotional support from your partner, and to have someone be like, do I have to? Like, it would be one thing if I was dating someone and I needed something like this, if they were like, you know what, I'm not a person who can do this type of like, for whatever reason, maybe they've got issues around death, maybe they're really struggling. Like, there's lots of things that people can really struggle with providing support for. One of the things that I really struggle with because of issues that I've had in my life, and I tell my friends this, I tell people this, is that I'm not very good with like people who are considering the S word. I don't know. I'm a bit worried about being like muted on some of these channels, but people who are considering that type of stuff, I'm not really the best person to support with that. It's not that I wouldn't help. It's not that I would want, like, if I dated someone, it's not like that I would want them to hide it from me. But I think if someone's in that type of crisis, because I've had people use that type of crisis to try and get a response out of me, I'm not the best person to reach out to on a first instance. And I'm totally willing to like help someone, but I usually do communicate that to people, like, to be like, look, I'm not the best person for that. So if he was like, look, I've got issues around this, I'm not able to support you, but are there other ways that I could support you? Are there other people? Maybe I could help you talk to your family. Like, it would be one thing if he did something like that, right? If he was like willing to offer some type of support, but the fact that he's not, and it would also be one thing if he was like, just straight up no, like, no, I'm not going to do that. I mean, it would still be jerky. I still would not be happy with that, but at least a direct answer for me personally is far better than like, do I have to? Because then you feel like someone's mom. Like, you feel like absolutely not. I hate that feeling. Like, I don't, do I have to? Nah, not for me. So yeah, I wouldn't let it go. I wouldn't let it go at all. I think I'd be like, listen, I'm in relationships. I'm in relation with people to give them support and to receive support. And this is not going to work for me. So yeah, that's definitely what I think I'd do. I don't think I would stay that. And I'm so sorry to this OP. This is awful. Like, it's such a hard, because everyone, I mean, it's so difficult with death because, everyone deals with death, but I think we definitely have a taboo in our culture around death and talking about death. And a lot of people feel really, really alone when they're grieving. So I really feel sorry for this OP. I'm going to look at the top comment because I just want to see what it says. All right. Says, this is the best, I think, let's look at the top comment. This isn't the first time something like this has happened where I needed support emotionally and he couldn't be bothered. Oh, I missed that. Somebody said, so you recognize this as a pattern of behavior, one that you've accepted, but finally it is something so big and deep that you cannot. Let this be your father's last wisdom to you that you deserve better. Oh, oof. Wow. That is true. It is a pattern. It is a pattern. If it's definitely a pattern, but it's hard when it's something small, right? Because you don't feel like when I've had situations like this where I've asked someone to like go to the store for me and they've been like, and I've been like, it's so small that you feel stupid for actually like complaining about it. But that commenter is super right. Like, you deserve better. Oof. And then this person commented on that, said, when I told him it hurt me later, he did cry, so I guess he does feel bad now. And this person said, and the crying feels performative if he's done something similar before. Saying sorry is all well and fine, but an effort to change is required for the apology to have meaning. 100% right. 100% right. Wow. Yeah. I wonder if the OP has said anything. Someone said, I've had roommates give me more support than he is giving you right now. Yeah. And it's actually in that situation where I've experienced something similar to this. It was the fact that I had friends who were being more supportive that really kind of drove that point home. Someone said, yeah, throw this one back. Yeah, that's it really. My boyfriend wouldn't go with me to spread my father's ashes. That's awful. I'm really sorry, OP. I'm really, really sorry. So yeah, that's my advice. That's gonna be all for this episode. I really hope that, I don't know if the OP will see this, and I don't think I'm allowed to comment with my link to my podcast or video. But yeah, I really hope that this OP, there's no update on this. I mean, it was only 8 hours ago, so I don't know that there would be an update already, but wow, I really hope that the OP gets out of this situation and finds some people who are actually supportive of them. That's so hard. I'm so sorry. I hope that helps, and good luck. So yeah, I want to also say before I get to like my conclusion, my podcast and this video is actually sponsored by BetterHelp. Usually I recommend people see a therapist, and quite often people really struggle to find a therapist who understands non-monogamy or even in their area. And also there's insurance issues. BetterHelp allows you to find therapists online that you could send messages to at any time of the day. And they do also offer some financial aid. You can get 10% off your first month by using the promo code non-monogamy help at checkout or going to betterhelp.com/non-monogamy help. All right. Thank you for watching and listening to this episode of Non-Monogamy Help. This is like a first trial thing. I'm going to see how this goes. It is kind of fun. I am enjoying it. And, you know, it might be interesting to make more YouTube content. If you want to be awesome, you can sign up to support the column and the podcast and what I'm doing as a podcast shout out supporter. And you can also let me know if you want to be one, if you want your name to be read out loud. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. Our current podcast shout out supporters are Mike Kander, Matthias Kaden, and Harshita. And if for whatever reason you can't support economically, there's tons of stuff you can do. You can go to nonmonogamyhelp.com/subscribe, sign up to emails by going to nonmonogamyhelp.com/email. You can take a screenshot of the podcast and everything and like share it to your stories and tag any of the accounts. I'm more than happy to reshare. And you can also rate and review it on all of the podcast providers where you can find it. So yeah, that's all for this week. I will post a new column on the next Friday, and then there will be another episode in a fortnight. Thank you so much for watching and listening. You've been listening to Non-Monogamy Help. The music was done by Chris Albury Jones at albury-jones.com. Thank you for listening.